Hey Sam from Ria from Samaya MCQ1 CA Final. PMP Limited is the company. So this is an auditee and company auditors issued clean report on for the previous years, and auditor made some changes in the audit team, but audit partner remained the same. They haven't given any kind of reasons for the changes in the audit team, but the field in charge was replaced for what? They have given a reason because he had left the firm and appointed new EQCR who is yet to clear his CA examinations. It would be better because if he had cleared CA examinations and comments and EQCR observe various comments on certain matters not accepted by the audit partner. EQCR is appointed because he had enough experience, but now the audit partner has made a contradictory statement that he would know better understanding of the client after assessing the EQCR. So we have to audit partner without concurrence with EQCR issued the report. We have to find which is correct. Changes in audit team is not appropriate except this. Yeah, this is right what we also have discussed. Put it in a gray area so that we could refer it back. And the audit partner did the right thing by ignoring the comments of EQCR as his final authority. No, audit discussions form a main part because of XQC1, audit discussions have to be done. Audit partner must discuss each and every comment and and respect those points with proper disclosure. He need not write each and every comment as per documentation. Previous comments were need not to be documented in or mentioned in audit report, and EQR need to have EQCR had sufficient experience, and he should significant judgments made by engagement team. The significant judgments as per SA 600 when using the work of another auditor, though EQCR is not an auditor, he should not do significant judgments. That's a restriction. And he cannot lesser his responsibility because that work is done by EQCR. So these three were like a red area. So this is gray area. So this is a correct answer. Exam from Ria from Samaya MCQ2 CA Final. We associates as a chartered accountant with staff around 25 persons and 3 partners. They provide various services. They wanted to improve the quality and started training programs for its staff. During one of the training programs, they're discussing about accepting an engagement with new client and decide whether to continue or existing engagement. This revolves around 200 series, and they wanted to know what are all the topics that were relevant. About integrity, yes. About the qualification of all employees, no, not necessarily. And about the competence, yes. Remuneration, no need. And ethical requirements, yes. And significant matters during the current previous engagement, continuing the relationship, yes. So, what do we want? Integrity and the competence, ethical requirements, and significant matters have risen. So 1, 3, 5, and 6. D. D is the correct option. From here from Samaya, it's CA Final. ZOV Private Limited engaged in mining with turnover of 4,000 CA, appointed a firm of chartered accountants for the 31st March 2021 as its statutory auditors. They had various observations which was appreciated by CFO. At the time of final reviews, audit partner requested for final analytical procedures, but audit engagement team said that they have performed substantive testing processes. If you think substantive testing procedures are starting the inventory, analytical procedures is comparison with the number of books that were sold. So it's like more of comparison. This is overall process. And audit partner is not convinced with this and considering the timeline to conclude the audit, requested CFO for more time. But CFO was very impressed with the engagement team work and he said should avoid these additional procedures. You have to find out what is correct in these 4. Audit team was correct. No, it is not correct because solely substantial procedures were not enough. You have to also perform analytical procedures. The selection of CFO is considered observing processes better than the audit partner. No, CFO is not responsible for and so responsible to form an opinion. The requirement of audit partner is valid. Yes, both substantial and analytical procedures should be required. Put it in a gray area so that we could find it. Audit team did the right thing by not performing analytical procedures. Both have to be done. These are correct answers. Okay, Sam from Ria from Samaya, MCQ4 CA Final. Be Private Limited engaged in tools and travels with turnover 700 CR for the audit 31st March 2021. Auditors observed a wide variation between sales and various expenses and the trade receivables and loans were aged more than 3 years and are not moving from that of previous year. So on basis of materiality and plan procedures, they have increased samples. So what the client insisted is that to do the same samples and that were tested in the previous year, there was no rule for that. Depending upon the risk factors and the auditor could increase the samples. So audit team did not agree to that. We have to find, there was a deadlock here. So we have to find what is right. Client is not valid. Yeah, that's right. Samples could change from year to year and audit team is not valid is not a right option. The audit team, instead of increasing numbers, increase process and round analytical work. Analytical work is basically to do analysis on comparison for or sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. If you didn't get SAE, you cannot apply that. And audit team should make a formal request for the documents that were not provided by client to audit team is not at all in the IC syllabus or etc. There was no pronouncement regarding that. So option A is correct. Client exam from this Ria from Samaya, the Q5 CA final. Is Private Limited engaged in construction with turnover 600 CR and IN of 40 CR. And we got new auditors for due to rotations and they asked for the opening balances. But CFO was very upset and angry that it was unnecessary information and was not within the scope. And you have to know what the correct option from the four. All opening balances that were within the scope of current year engagements as for 500 series 510. So the requirement of opening balances is valid. Yes, that's right. Put it in gray area. CFO is not valid, so it's wrong. And the audit team is set up as a different approach. No meet previous year auditors. There was no such thing in any audit pronouncements. And requirement of auditors for 31st March with requirements of 510 and 520. Yes. This and this out of these two opening balances is valid, but is completely wrong. No, this is not right. Yes, I'm from this area from Samaya, MCQ number 6 CA final. Ramraj Associates is appointed as statutory auditors, and the company had entered into related party transactions. And CA Ram had taken management representation. Management representations were a corroborative or for the audit evidence, but they do not replace the audit procedures or responsibility that the auditor has to take. Is there any further responsibility? Is there a further responsibility of Ram? No further responsibility, no. No further responsibility, no, that's wrong. As they were for responsibility. But as per 200 series, whether to identify the misstatement is the right thing, but not only to detect fraud or error related to party transaction. You have to respond, you have to identify instances and respond to the material misstatements. I think the more appropriate is the C. The right answer is C. Sam from Priya from Samaya, MCQ 7 CA final. Emmanuel Limited is a manufacturer of kids toy, appointed Ajay and Vijay Associates, and Ajay engagement partner asked for email address of trade receivable to obtain balance confirmation. But management gave except for Sports Star Limited and Kids Zone Limited, as there was a dispute between Emmanuel Limited and what the advice that we give to CA Ajay relevant to standards is obtaining balance confirmation is a CA 505 where these external audit confirmations were have to be taken from substantially everybody. And Ajay should not rely on explanation of management. Yes, that's right. And Ajay should have obtained direct response from all other trade receivables by providing them auditors. Yes, that's right. And put it in a gray area. See both are in gray area. And CA Ajay should have the qualified opinion just for balance confirmation. Giving a qualified opinion, it doesn't serve for the purpose. You could go for further audit procedures or something other. So most relevant is this C, the right answer. We are from Samaya MCQ 8CA final. ABC Associates appointed as auditors in PQR Limited And notice the following things: payments to fines and penalties, unusual cash payments, and payments to government employees which are not supported by document notices, heavy payments to legal counsels. I think they have landed on some legal issues. We'll see what they indicate. Internal controls, no. I think non-compliance. Non-compliance would be right answer. Accounting system, no. Going concern assumption, no. I think most appropriate is non-compliance. Correct answer. Samfam Ria from Samaya, MCQ9 CA Final. Auditors do not normally examine all information. They use audit sampling, SA540, and they have said random selection or block sampling, types of block sampling. And out of this, you have to find block sampling out of this four. And it was auto divided into two groups depending upon monetary limit. It's mostly a stratified or high value selection, and step from auto determine the sample selection as starting point 10 and select every 10 point. It is a systematic selection, and auto Mr. Ye selected sample size of all high value. It's also stratified selection and uses 50 consecutive checks to test instead of picking 50. They are using it as 50 block checks. I think this is the right answer. Block sampling. From Priya from Samaya, MCQ10, CA Final. You're the audit senior of T&Co, responsible for managed fixed assets of the company. We have four properties amounting to 12.5 CR. And how do you obtain persuasive evidence for the ownership? Ownership, mostly you have to, uh, through legal documents or right to it's like existence or not. It's for the ownership. Have to check for the registered documents. This is the probable answer. And fixed asset registered, and these for the internal controls, and the properties were reviewed. This for the internal controls again, management. The right answer. Registered documents have to be inspected and verify them. Please some from Ria from Samaya, MCQ 11, CA Final. Professional skepticism is defined as we all know, professional skepticism is questioning men and being inert in throughout the audit. So it's an avoid to significant mistakes, no. Application to relevant training knowledge, no. Analysis of management decisions, no. It's about the questioning mind being alert in conditions on or throughout the audit, which indicate misstatements. D is the right answer. Hey Samfam, this is Ria from Samaya, MCQ 12 CA Final. Professional judgment is defined as whenever auditor have to apply professional judgment, he applies it through his expertise, knowledge, and experience. So, the application of relevant training, knowledge, experience with context to provide auditing, accounting, and ethical standards, etc. I think this is the right answer. It's not an attitude to about significant mistakes. It is not about something about decision making, or it's not an attitude of questioning mind. This is professional skepticism. Option A is correct answer. This is Ria from Samaya, MCQ 13, CA Final. Judgments about materiality are affected by, they were mostly affected by the misstatements that were there, or the size and nature of the business and its intention, common financial information that was for users of financial statements. So here the options were author's perspection, author's perspective, and size and nature. Size and nature, company's control and environment. The most appropriate answer is B, as per SA 320. Case Samfam, this is Ria from Samaya, MCQ 14 CA Final. What are all the inherent limitations that affect author's ability to detect material misstatements? Except. So we'll see what are all the inherent limitations which affect the author's ability. Lesson sampling would affect his author's ability to detect audit process through judgment. Corporate governance affects audit strategy or audit plan, but not his auditor's ability to detect misstatement. Audit evidence also affect the auditor's ability to detect material misstatements. So the appropriate answer is C, poor corporate governance. Example, this is Ria from Samaya, MCQ 50 final. AK Limited is a firm of chartered accountants and it was renowned and has staff of 240 and has 3 branches, and it had many clients. And one of the engagement team picked up a statutory audit for the 31st March 2021, where the engagement team for the current year has got industry experience, but it's a different engagement of that of previous year. So the audit team is confused during the planning work. So it would like to know what the advice that we could give in the 4 points given below. The engagement team should consult the previous year's engagement team during the course of their planning. Yeah, this was a audit team discussions with previous seniors is form part of SQC1, and engagement team should be independent. No such daughter should be independent, but not the engagement team. And independent to its decision, but not in the work of for the planning. They could go and consult the previous years and maintain confidentiality. No, it's not related to that. Confidentiality towards the third parties, but not of the engagement team in the same firm. Only partners should go and consult previous year's audit team. There's no such thing in audit pronouncement. So the appropriate answer would be A. This is Via from Samaya, MCQs A Final. K Limited based in Kochi, but it's having operations in Europe, and it also has to prepare financial statement as per international standards there. And the audit team also required to visit various locations, and it's facing a lot of stages challenges at various stages, and it also required to visit its materiality level. However, due to the at the time of final reviews, the audit partner is not convinced with reassessing of their plan continuously. Please advise. Whenever you have to reassess, whenever you find new misstatements, or the audit plan has to be reassessed, no matter, and it should not take into consideration the time wasted, etc. And with the audit plan, audit materiality also should be reassessed. So audit partner senior, so the audit partner's view is not right. So option A, this is not wrong. Audit partner is right. That's wrong. Audit partner view is not right, not correct. This would might be the appropriate answer. Audit partner was correct. No, audit partner's view is not correct because it's a big thing that it should consider audit partner. It's not necessarily the same. I think the most appropriate thing is this option B. This is Ria from Samaya, MCQ 17. Our private limited has office in Bangalore. In discussion with statutory auditors, they had raised significant delays in completion of audit work. Audit team has suggested the information should be ready on time. And with internal auditors discussion, the audit team discussed that the audit documentation were done only after completion of the audit work. But as per SC 230, audit documentation, it has to be done on timely manner. So we'll see if the audit team documents audit program alongside, it would create problems and which makes a delay during the course of the audit. It's what they have been thinking of. We'll see what should be the approach of the auditor. The decision of audit team regarding not documenting is very good. No, that's not good. It has to be documented timely basis as per SC 230. Instead of considering audit program, it should checklist. No, that's a part of audit program, but that could not replace documentation. The approach of audit team to not to document audit program is not correct. Yes, it need to document at time of planning itself. Yes, might be the appropriate, and not to document is not correct. The changes audit program is valid. You have to take prior approval of ICI. This is not there in audit pronouncement. So option C is most appropriate and correct answer. This is Via from Samaya, MCQ 18, final. A Limited is in pharmaceutical business in with 100 CR turnover, and eight are statutory auditors. RM is internal auditors. Two statutory auditors, company appointed internal auditors. Statutory auditors for the financial year 2021 requested detailed working papers. Working papers are the property of the auditors, whether it would be auditors. And statutory auditors can take assistance or review the internal audit reports, but not go for detailed audit detailed working papers. Please advise which is correct. And the statutory told the management that they qualify their report. Is not statutory auditor should review the detailed working, not review. They may review detailed, not review. They are not required to go review the detailed working papers. Yes, they may review the prior approval of ICA. There was no such approval were required. So the most appropriate answer is C. I'm Ria from Samaya, MCQ 19, C final. RIM Private Limited, manufacturer of steel with turnover of 10,000. It had carried out the management expert the fiscal verification of property for the year ended 21, and he had submitted the report on 21st April. Statutory auditors asked for the direct report, direct communication of that management expert, and it would like to review the work of the consultant. Management did not agree to both the points. We'll see what the view of management seems to be correct. No, the author could review the work of the consultant, but he need not go for a direct communication. So both the points were, as management disagreed to both the points, it's wrong. Both the management are not correct. He need not supposed to receive a report directly, yeah, but he could review the work of the management expertise. So B might be the answer. Auditor's requirements are reasonable. No, he need not receive that communication directly. An auditor expert, he could receive that, or from external confirmations, he could receive that, but from management consultant, it need not be. Both management consultants find a solution. This is mostly a diplomatic. We want answer as per essays. So B is more appropriate answer. Hey Samson, this is Ria from Samaya MCQ 20 CA Final. BV Associates are statutory auditors of ABC Limited. It has strong internal control team. So engagement partner decided to use the internal audit team. He could use it as per SS16. So what are the prior requisites to use the direct assistance of internal auditor? Where he should obtain a written agreement as compulsory, and which decides the scopes and responsibilities, and it depends on also about the confidentiality matters. Yes, both would might be the appropriate answers, and he can need not, no prior written agreement is required. It's not an appropriate thing. Both A and B was the right answer. C is the right answer. This is Ria from Samaya MCQ 21 CA Final. An auditor expert could be auditor's internal or external expert. Who cannot be an auditor's internal expert? Partner, temporary staff, permanent staff, or a prospective CA soon wanted to join as a partner in such audit firm. D. A prospective CA who wanted to join as a auditor's firm as a partner is not an auditor's internal expert. Hey Samson, this is Ria from Samaya MCQ 22 CA Final. A CA is developing an audit strategy for his client. He develops an audit plan and he wanted to revise at the materiality levels due to deviations that were already set in the audit strategy. Yeah, he could modify the new audit strategy and develop and modify the audit plan, and he could reconsider the audit materiality. So he could continue with the audit plan without considering. No, he shouldn't continue. He have to account for the deviations. Drop the audit. He need not drop the audit. First modify audit strategy, or then audit plan, and then according to the modified strategy. Yeah, is the most appropriate answer. New plan, no, not necessarily a new plan. You could modify the old existing plan. This is Ria from Samaya MCQ 23 CA Final. An audit firm has statutory auditors for a real estate business where they launched a new product with a price of rupees 5,500, and where the company had for the first 50 customers an inaugural discount of 10%, where Yam and Yen booked one of the 3 BHK flat for 4,950 for the inauguration with an inaugurational discount. We have to see which statement is correct. They shall not disqualify. Yeah, this is an ordinary course of business. They need not get disqualified. But for what? Not offered any discount, but they have offered discount, 10% discount they have offered, where they do not shall suffer because the third partner had not bought. No, it's not the case. And the transaction where ordinary course without any consideration, they have paid the consideration and consideration was there. So that's not an appropriate answer. Like other 49 customers, they had discounts of 10%. This is most accurate and most appropriate answer. All the four were right, but this is most appropriate as it was specific to the point. D is the answer. Ria from Samaya, MCQ 24, CA Final. Raj Private Limited is dealing in retail business, and which was audited by Raj Associates, which do not have experience in such retail sector. As it's their first year, they thought that not should not do assessment of inherent risk, and the auditor will take care of control risk, which is actually the duty of management. The management has the responsible to design, implement, and monitor the controls, and the auditor's duty to assess the inherent risk to make the detection risk very acceptably low level. So we should find which is correct. The assessment of audit team is correct. No, that's not right. Assessment of audit team is wrong. Yes. Because it's a private company. No, it's not. It's deals with every type of audit. Assessment of audit team is wrong. Yes, that's right. C might be the appropriate. Assessment is correct. No, C is the appropriate answer. This is Ria from Samaya. MCQ 25 CA Final. K Limited operates both in India and Dubai. It's planned to do rigorously the audit for the financial year ended 2021. So on internal financial control, so the statutory auditors asked for risk control matrix. But management had not provided any risk control matrix. A risk control matrix is a format where the management prepares. It's the duty to design, implement, and maintain the internal controls. Management has to provide what are all the risks that the company is exposed to, and what are all the controls and control descriptions that was designed. So the management had not provided any control matrix. So the auditor is not ready to accept the same. So please suggest. The request of audit team is correct. Yes, that might be the appropriate. The request of audit team is not justified. No. The requirement of no, not justified. No. In case of a private company, it seems an ethical issue. The auditor is not allowed. No, that's not the case. A is most appropriate answer.